Hey everyone! Welcome to the second video on this channel. Today I'll be reviewing Scar, the third and last book in the Skin Books trilogy by Alice Broadway. The first one in the series, in case you don't remember, was Ink. In this one, Leora finds out that her father had a secret that he belonged or was part of the society known as the Blanks, and she therefore has a past with the Blanks, and her entire worldview is completely thrown off. The second book, Spark, this one, is the story where Leora goes to infiltrate the Blank village as a spy, but she gets to know the people, and she realizes that they aren't that horrible after all, so she does want to reunite the Blanks and the marked ones. And the story ends with her being captured by Mayor Longside, who rules over the marked. So Scar picks up the exact moment where Spark ended, when Leora is captured and brought before Mayor Longside. So the thing I noticed is that the first two books are all about Leora learning all that she can about the two societies, about the marked with their tattoos who show off all their sins and everything they've done in their life. And the second book is about the Blanks, where she learns that not everything is as it seems and other people can have other worldviews, and that's okay, they aren't horrible monsters for their differing ideas. So this third book isn't about Leora learning anything anymore. This book consists of Leora forging her own path and making a new story and trying to reunite the two societies and trying to get a peaceful coexistence between the two of them. So I really enjoyed reading these books. They were recommended to me by a friend, and she borrowed me the first one. No, she lent me the first one. And I immediately then bought the second one, and now I got the third one as soon as I could. So I've actually finished it a couple weeks ago, but I didn't have time to upload this video until now. So I'm going to go over some of the points I really liked, some of the things I thought were a bit bad or were less good, and then just some general thoughts I had about the series and about Scar in particular. So first I'll talk about the good parts. There was a lot of symbolism. I love symbolism. It is amazing to find in books. If you can find them out for yourself, if you can find the clues and reveal them on your own. There is a lot of Christian symbolism that I found. I'm not going to give any specific examples because then it might spoil the story somewhat. But there's a lot of Christianity. There is a lot of symbolism behind the names that the characters have. So I love that. Then, along with the symbolism, there's a lot of references to real world stories. I mean, if you've read the first two books, you know about the legends and the stories that the marked and the Blanks tell their people. And some of those are entirely new, and some of those are reminiscent of real world stories. There's references in Scar, there are references to Sleeping Beauty, and to the story of Moses, which comes back to the Christian symbolism. So that's really nice. I enjoyed that a lot. But not only are there references to the stories we have in our world, there's also parallels to real-world politics, which is, for some people, probably not what they would want in their young adult literature, but I enjoy it a lot because books are there to teach people things, not only to escape. So this is a way to bring up points that are difficult in our real life, and that can now be seen in a different, from a different point of view. So that was really nice. There's the typical politicians influencing their people. Politicians pretending they want the best for their people while all along they just want to do what gets them the most gain, which isn't anything new. But it was very well done. And it was Alice Broadway did a really good job in not only portraying one side of the story. Both the marked and the blanks had bad leaders and had bad people. And that's a real nice thing, because I think a lot of people only see their own sides, and maybe this helps them consider whoever they're opposed to. Other than that, there's of course also the people that are afraid of the things they don't know. The marked ones are afraid of the blanks because they're soulless creatures. And the blanks think that the marked ones are horrible for wearing their sins on their skin. So it's very much people being afraid of the things they don't know and therefore wanting to destroy those things. And Leora is the one person who can get them together and who can get them over those prejudices. And that's shown very well. And it's shown in a way that you can't convince everyone. Some people can be talked to, and some people can be taught to renounce their prejudices, and some people just refuse to listen and will go on doing what they did before. So that is really well done, and I really enjoyed those parallels to our world. Again, I would give you specific examples. I've marked my book with things that I love them so much, but I won't, because it would spoil things. So the last point I really enjoyed was the amount of female characters in the books and how different they all were from each other. They were all very strong in their own ways, and even the ones that weren't strong were allowed to be not strong, they were allowed to be weak, and it wasn't really seen as a flaw. It just shows that there are many types of people. For example, you have Verity, Leora's best friend in the first book, and she is, at the start she seems like the typical pretty girl who is focused on superficial things, but she isn't at all. Within a few chapters of the first book, you already get to learn her more, and you get to know that she's way more complex than just that. Leora herself isn't seen as the typical girl. She's pretty awkward with people. She's pretty naive in the first book, but she learns a lot and she grows a lot, and Verity does too. There's of course the leader of the blanks, who is a pretty bad person actually, but women can be bad people. And of course I think my favorite character arc might be Leora's mom. She starts out as someone very normal almost. She starts out telling Leora to keep her head down, not to start anything, just go with whatever the people say should go. She just tells Leora to be ordinary. And then we don't see her a lot. And then in the third book, she is amazing. There is a couple of scenes in Scar where Leora's mom shows up, and I absolutely love them. She becomes so strong. She tells Leora that she was wrong. She admits to Leora that she made mistakes. And she stands up for Leora and she defends her, and it is one of my favorite scenes in the entire book. Which again, I won't tell you. You'll have to find out for yourself. But I absolutely love Leora's mom. Her arc is incredible. So I loved all three books. They all have very good moments. They all have very compelling stories, very compelling characters. There are two things that I enjoyed a little bit less. One of them, the first, is that the romance is slightly disappointing to me. Leora meets Oscar. Oscar. In the first book, they hit it off right away, and then they have to part ways. And she goes to the blanks. They get in contact again, and the way they evolve is very natural. I mean, she is smitten from the first moment, pretty much, and so is he. But it's in a very natural way. It isn't. It isn't how you often see in movies, like, oh, they meet once and immediately are going to marry because it's true love. Alice Broadway did a very good job with developing the relationship in the first two books. And then in the last book, it suddenly seemed that it all went very fast suddenly. Oscar and Leora don't have a lot of contact in the third book. And then suddenly at the end, it goes very fast. It was still nice. It was they are very nice together. Yeah. So the romance was nice, but it felt slightly off. Like, it could have been more, it could have been worked out more. The second thing is that the ending in Scar felt slightly rushed, and it feels like there could be a fourth book, actually. There are some storylines that don't seem to be completely finished, that seem like they could be continued, that they aren't wrapped up entirely. So overall, they are great books. I love them very much. I enjoyed reading them very much. But those two parts are a little bit less good, I suppose. Well, maybe you'll enjoy them very much. To me personally, they were less good. But that's all. Those are the only two things I could find that I didn't enjoy as much as the others. And then in general, I have some thoughts. General thoughts, nothing specifically good or bad. These three books fall into a trend, I suppose, of young adult books that have three in a series with a young girl as main character who finds out that she isn't who she thought she was. Which of course isn't bad by itself, but it isn't very new anymore. The setup is very much used in Divergent and the Hunger Games and all those things. But the concept with the tattoos and the opposite side with the blanks is very intriguing. The concept is very, very interesting. So it's a very nice idea, and the world was built very well. So that's I enjoyed that. The writing style for all three books is very fluent, very easy to read, very easy to get caught up in. I spent hours reading these books and it didn't feel like hours because it was so nice to read these. And just in general, it was an intriguing story. I enjoyed them. I've said this so often now. But they were good books. I am very grateful that my friend recommended them. And I hope you will enjoy them. And I hope that you will tell the author, you will tell Alice Broadway, you can find her on Twitter. You can tell her how much you enjoyed them. So yeah, that's the video for today, I suppose. I will return with more reviews. So yeah, go read the Skin Books trilogy by Alice Broadway. See you another time.